Back here on Ask the Coach, Joe Myers and Jeff Garman discussing last night's 35-6 loss to Elizabethtown in the regular season finale over at Hank Royce Stadium. Taking a look at the drive chart from last night's game, as we said, the first several possessions by both teams resulted in either a punt or a turnover. Both teams punted on their first possession. Elizabethtown got the ball back for their second possession at the Glasgow 39-yard line and drove into Glasgow territory, but the Scotty defense came up with a huge turnover, a fumble recovered by Jasper Mundy to stop that drive and set the Scotty offense up at their own 14. Big play right there. I don't know who caused the fumble, don't know exactly what happened. We think Jasper got on it, but E-Town looked like they were going in for their first score of the game in that first quarter, but your defense came up with the stop and the turnover.
Yeah, and we got a hit there, and Jasper came up with it, and our defense was just kind of on time that whole first half. I mean, and coming up with some big plays, and you know, again, I keep going back to this, and it's just, I think it just shows that we're getting a little bit better and better each week we play. You know, we jumped competition level way up tonight, but I thought our defense played pretty doggone steady, though.
After a couple more punts by each team, Scotty's really got pinned deep in their own territory. E-Town did a nice job to get down there and keep a punt from going into the end zone to pin the Scotties at their own 1-yard line. And on third down, I believe it was, Desi Austin dropped back to pass in his own end zone, and Desi wound up taking a sack for a safety. So E-Town got on the board first with that 2-0 score with 4:31 to go in the first quarter. Looked like Desi pumped right there, Jeff, but decided not to throw. And in that situation, I guess as a quarterback, you're throwing out of your own end zone. You know you got to get rid of that football quick.
Yeah, you got a clock in your head, and you know what you got to do. And I guess, you know, he saw something, and then I thought he was going to throw it, and he changed his mind. And that's tough when you're in third down and long yardage down there you're in your end zone. It's a hard thing to do, and could have been a lot worse. I mean, he could have made a bad throw and turned it over there, but giving up 2 points wasn't the end of the world. You know, we started off on first down, went deep right off the bat, and where he was in the gun, he caught it and got rid of it. And I thought Ben got behind the receiver, behind the defensive back, and we just barely missed him on getting a big play right there. I knew we could get something going offensively if we ever had anything positive happen. And we finally had a positive play when he hit Karam on a long pass, I think a series or two later than that, and it kind of sparked us and got us going a little bit, and we were able to run the ball a little bit better. And you know, this whole thing kind of goes hand in hand. You've got to be able to complete some passes on the outside, and it opens up your running game on the inside.
After the safety, Glasgow chose to kick rather than punt, and E-Town got great field position at the Glasgow 39-yard line, but another huge stop by the Scotty defense with their backs really against the wall. They forced Elizabethtown to punt, giving the Scotties the ball back at their own 11. Glasgow, however, fumbled on the first play as Desi had some trouble handling the snap. Fortunately for the Scotties, on the very next play, the Elizabethtown quarterback had the same problem. He fumbled the snap. Silverio Greer able to get back on it for Glasgow. So the Scotty defense again came up with a stop to prevent a score with their backs against the wall. Glasgow would punt on its next possession because Glasgow again was pinned deep. E-Town got great field position at the Glasgow 25-yard line, and on the first play of that offensive series, Delonza Kate scored on a 25-yard touchdown run. The extra point was no good, and with 46 seconds to go in the first quarter, Elizabethtown had an 8-0 lead. Scotties then got the football back at their own 18-yard line, would punt. However, on the punt, Elizabethtown mishandled it. Scotties were able to get back on it. Eric Bradshaw, we think, recovered that fumble, gave the Scotties football back at the E-Town 42-yard line, but again, Glasgow would have to kick it away after not being able to get much going offensively. Scotties on their next drive, though, however, would get their lone touchdown drive of the night, and a really nice drive it was. 8 plays, 82 yards after starting at their own 18-yard line. Drive took 2 minutes and 53 seconds. Griffin Murphy caught an 11-yard touchdown pass from Desi Austin in the back right corner of the end zone. 2-point conversion was no good, and E-Town's lead was cut to 8-6 with 2:35 to go in the first half. Nice pass and catch on 2 successive plays there. You mentioned the one from Desi to Karam. Desi couldn't have laid the ball out any more perfectly, hit Karam right in stride, and then Murphy he hit Murphy right there in the back corner of the end zone, kind of laid it in there right over the top of a couple of defenders. And Desi, again, laid those balls in there perfectly. Receivers did a nice job to catch him, and you got on the board right there.
Yeah, and it was huge, and it gave us life. And, and the only bad thing about it all was I looked up at the clock, and there was still 2 minutes and something left, or 3 minutes left. And, I'd like to have gotten out of half right there in that situation of either being tied or down 2, but it didn't play out that way. And give E-Town credit; they're a good football team, and they've got a lot of seniors. They're a senior-dominated football team that played like seniors to me. They play pretty close-knit. They pick each other up, and had different guys to be able to make plays, and tip your hat to them. They're a fine football team.
So Elizabethtown answers right back with a 6-play, 76-yard drive that took a minute and 42 seconds. Delonza Kate scored on a 2-yard run. The extra point good by Tyler Durbin put E-Town up 15-6 with 52 seconds to go. This is when Glasgow mishandled the ensuing kick, and that gave the Panthers the football back at the Glasgow 34-yard line. And they took it right down to the final play of the half before they finally scored on an 18-yard touchdown pass from Jack Wilson to Hunter Sullivan. The kick was good, and E-Town led 22-6 as time expired there in the first half. On that touchdown play, Jeff, I think it was just 1.5 seconds left on the clock, and looked like you guys blitzed your linebackers and hoping to get to Wilson before he could get the throw off, but he got it off just in time and then got it to Sullivan, and Jasper almost had Sullivan down before he got into the end zone, but he was able to lunge forward, get across the goal line, and get the score.
Yeah, and that's how it looked to me. I was trying to not give Wilson's a pretty heady ball player back there, and I think a lot of their success has fallen on his shoulders. If you ask me, I think it's a big upgrade. Him moving to quarterback this year from the wing position he played last year. And we're trying to offset their timing a little bit, and we were able to get to him, and the kid made a good catch and got down. And, I don't referee. It looked like to me, his knee went down, and then he lunges across the line with the ball, and, it barely crosses the goal line. But the way it looked, his lower half to me was down the ground, and there was some question there, if we thought, did he get in or not? But, the referees thought he got across the line before his knee hit. But, just a back-breaking play right there before half that kind of put us down 2 scores. And, our whole deal was, and that's what I told the boys at half, I just want to be down a touchdown going into the fourth quarter to give us a chance to make a play in the fourth quarter and see what can happen. And that one there kind of broke our back in the sense. Come back, still played pretty solid the second half. When you go down and look at, and you break the game down into quarters a little bit, when you play a team like this, you can't go look at the big final outcome because they're that good. You break the game down into small segments, and you try to win the first quarter, try to win the second quarter. I thought, really, to be honest with you, I thought we outplayed them the first quarter. The second quarter, I thought, was kind of even till that last score. So at halftime, we disappointed that we were down, but happy with the way the game had gone. The game had played out the way we wanted it to play out. And, the third quarter, they kind of owned that third quarter there on us. So, they scored once, I think, in the third and once in the fourth, or maybe twice in the third. I can't remember exactly how it played out. But we kind of got our running game going a little bit there in the second half, and we were able to move the football and at least limit their offensive plays. So that was a good thing. I thought our offensive line, had trouble in the pass protection type deal, but I thought in the running game, we were able to grind out some yards there and make a few plays. So, saw some good things, saw some things that we got to continue to work on and get better at. But, when you've got a lot of young kids like we do, that's to be expected. And we're striving. That's what I told the boys before the game. We're striving to be E-Town next year. we want to be in that position next year where, we've got an older team. We understand how to play and what it takes to win, and we understand the effort that it takes. And then we just got to clean up some mistakes. But what E-Town's doing right now is what we strive to get back to. And, and it's, I think it's out there to try to get back to that level. It's just we've got to grow up and we've got to mature and we just got to get a little better, and that's the bottom line.
Scotty's on their first possession of the third quarter would punt, and that punt resulted in the first score of the second half for E-Town as Jay Becker returned it 49 yards for a touchdown. The extra point was no good, 28-6 with 10:08 to go in the third quarter, and just a little bit of a coverage breakdown there, Jeff.
Yeah, I mean, it was just a breakdown, and I think that guy went all the way from one side all the way back to the other, and it was a good catch and throw, and they're two-dimensional. You can't just set up there and stop the run. They can throw it well enough to beat you in the air, and then when you have to honor their passing game, they've got multiple weapons on offense as far as running the ball that can really, give you problems.
E-Town would score one more time with 4:46 to go in the third quarter on a 31-yard run by Delonza Cates. The extra point good, 35-6 was the final score. It was set with 4:46 to go in the third quarter. We'll come back in just a moment, take a look at the final stats, and take a look at Glasgow's playoff opponent in the first round, the Washington County Commanders. Back after this on WCLU Sports.
What are people going to think of our new buttermilk crispy chicken? Let's find out.
It's probably the best sandwich I've ever had.
It's super crispy, but it's also really juicy.
So would you guys come back?
Yeah,
definitely. Well, here's our card. The location is on the back. It's McDonald's? What? What?
Oh, get out
No way.
Wait, seriously?
Try some buttermilk crispy chicken. It's right around the corner at McDonald's.
Buttermilk.